differences and come together and say we need to fight. We can't even fight COVID because we don't know much about it. But how do we protect people? Yes, they're saying immunization, but the children can't be immunized. And I was looking at children living with HIV, AIDS. During that lockdown, how were they getting their medication? It was hard. Then there were those children with cancer who were told to go back home. And then it is later that they started trying to get doctors on motorbikes to go and deliver the medication. But see, when there's a break in their medication, it brings more it brings more issues. And no one talked about the children who died during that time because of medication, not having medication in time and what, or who have fallen back in their things. So we need to learn to have a standby. We have to have community, maybe say they're paramedics in the communities, and these paramedics should reach out to it should be in every parish, every village. We should have paramedics.
Hello, welcome to yet another episode of You and the Law, the COVID edition, here on House of Talent Television. This show is proudly brought to you by Legal Hub Uganda in partnership with I4C Africa Hub. You and the Law is simply what it states. You and the Law, we explain the relationship between human beings, between us people, and the law, because the law guides every aspect of our lives. This particular edition of You and the Law is dedicated to COVID-19. How has COVID-19 affected our human rights? Over the last episodes, we've tackled different human rights that have been affected by the pandemic. Today, we look at children. How has COVID-19 affected children's rights in Uganda? What are the issues that are emerging because of COVID-19 as far as children are concerned? What do we need to do to protect children in these hard times? With me in studio is Ms. Sarah Awelo, the lead counsel for GBV at the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Sarah, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Oh, I'm okay. I've been fine. Well, COVID gave me some rest.
Yes. And in terms of work, because I know a lot of things have changed over the years, how has it affected your work life?
A lot of things have changed, yes. Sometimes you work from home, but being legal, it is hard to fully work from home. So you have court, home, in between. Sometimes you're torn. You see, today we are going to have court online, or we are going to stay from. Then it's hard to meet your clients. You just see them via the video link.
Yeah, it's a crazy time, but hopefully things will normalize. You come from UCLF, the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Perhaps for a person who could be hearing this for the first time, you could give us a little bit of more information about the organization that you work for.
Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity is a membership organization. It's a legal aid. We provide legal aid to people who could not afford money or any amount of money, especially family, land matters. We also provide legal aid to the children, juvenile justice. So we have all that. Then we also handle GBV, gender-based violence programs, mainly in Kayunga. Yes, so we are those places.
So your services are completely free?
Our services are free.
Oh, interesting. And in terms of the name of the organization, the Christian aspect of it, and somebody could be tempted to ask, are your services restricted to only a particular group of people who subscribe to a particular faith, or it's okay?
No. We handle everyone. Everyone. You see, everyone is a child of God. So we handle everyone as a child of God.
Yes.
We believe we are missionaries, and we are doing that by helping people in the legal in a legal way. So for us, maybe we may not stand on the street every day to preach, but we shall go to court. We shall fight for people's rights every day.
Okay.
Yes, that's how we shall preach.
I think it's an interesting approach, to missionary work by providing an actual service. And so today we talking about COVID-19 and how it has affected our lives, and we're specifically having conversation around children. you know,
a nation.
The nation and from a futuristic, I think it's a very interesting angle to this. But then now we move to talk about children's rights. As you've explained, children are the future of the nation and we should protect them. Is there a law that provides for that, or is that just your wishful thinking? Where do we derive the mandate to talk about children's rights?
The rights of children are protected by our Constitution, the 1995 Constitution as amended. Then we have the Children's Act. Then there are those conventions, the international conventions that Uganda decided to sign and be a part of. We have the 1985 UN Convention on the Rights of Children, and then the 1990 African Charter on the Rights and Welfare of the Child. So all that are some of the laws that protect children that Uganda ascribes to.
Okay, but in terms of then what exactly do they actually provide for? Like, what are those rights? If you do tell a random person that these are children's rights, what could be examples that we can share?
Well, they have a right to live with their parents or guardians. They have a right to education, a right to practice the religion they know, a right to, yes.
Very important for UCLF.
Yes, very important. A right to shelter, to medication. They have their rights, yes.
So, but then if you move further and talk about those rights, whose duty is it to provide them? Because, you know, there's been a lot of conversations around, you know, in Africa, parenting children is a societal issue, but then you're discussing it from a human rights angle. So who bears the obligation to ensure that actually these rights are protected?
See, in Africa, the children are for the whole village, but okay, currently it's changing. Those days it used to be, I think, the days of our parents, but currently, who protects the children apart from their parents? You know, sometimes even the relatives do not protect them. So we have also the welfare officer, like the government decides to put in place institutions to protect them. For example, the Secretary for Children's Welfare in the local council. We have also the Family and Children's Court, where we could run to when their rights are being infringed on. We have the probation and social welfare officers. We have the district probation and social welfare officers. We have all those people to protect. But really the main, it is each of us, all of us as individuals, even the children themselves, they should protect their own rights.
Some people argue that children's rights fall under the broad category of human rights. I mean, there's sort of a subcategory of human rights, and there's this talk about you need to respect, protect, you know, fulfill this right, which is put on the state. I don't know from your experience working this, what does actually respecting children's rights mean in terms from the angle of the government?
Let's say the right to live with your parents. What should the government do to help children to make sure that that right is respected? Parents, one thing government should also do is help the parents have income or have something to provide for these children. Because when they start saying then we have a right to be given proper food, right to clothing, we have medical care and a home, if the parents are sleeping on the streets, then how will these rights be given to them? So I think with the government, it has to start with the parents. The parents should be given the ability or should
conducive environment.
A conducive environment to provide and protect the rights of these children.
Okay. And then in terms of the, fulfilling this right, some people argue that, it's important to have, laws, policies in place. I wonder how Uganda is doing in that context, if you, from your experience as a child rights advocate.
Well, we have very good laws. Yes.
On children issues?
On children's issues,
okay.
We have.
Run us through them. Run us through them.
We have the Constitution, the Children's Act. They give us very good laws toward the rights of children, the obligation, how to ensure that they have proper health, education, mental, physical, and moral development. And our issue is implementing those laws, and then also do people know those laws. Right now we are talking about the laws, and we are here in Kampala with an upper class talking about it. But what about that mother in Kayunga who has all those issues? She has no idea, maybe even that the children have rights. You know? For her, her work is to see them live every day. I got a saying in my work with the people in Kayunga when they said that children grow anyway. Somehow they will grow.
They will
grow.
Yes.
It's hard. Even our crops don't just grow. You have to weed.
Yes.
What? Yeah, but you see, to them that's their belief. Somehow they will grow.
You've mentioned about the Constitution and talked about the Children's Act. Perhaps we could spend a bit of more time understanding the Children's Act and sort of its provisions on children's rights. What are the salient features that we can, talk about if you're to, tell a random person about this children's rights from the angle of that act?
From the angle of the act, a child is a person like below the age of 18.
Oh, by the way, we forgot even to understand that, yes.
A child is a person from that age of 18, and then children's rights mean the basic needs that a child must have to ensure his or her proper growth and development. I look at it, proper growth and development.
Proper growth and development.
It's relative. That's relative. Because and a child will say, for me to have proper growth and development, I need Cerelac. The other one will get up and go to a mango tree and look for those small mangoes that are even not yet. So it's relative. And it's even under the act we say, they have their obligations. So sometimes we go so much on their rights.
Yes.
But see, they also have an obligation. But like they said, the obligation for them to go to school and be obedient while at school. But a child to go to school on an empty stomach, unless he or she knows that at school they're going to give me something to eat.
Some porridge.
Some porridge. So that one, it will be easy for the child to fulfill that obligation. But just sending the child to school, and the child knows there's nothing for me to eat, who will pass by the gardens, people's homes, look for mangoes. By the time they reach school, it is midday.
Yes.
And then they get back. Yeah. So we have under the Children's Act those very good laws, the rights, the obligations, but also we have the buts. But
yes, there's always a but somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's then switch gears, because we're discussing children's rights, but specifically in the context of COVID-19, which came and really, forced a government to do so many things, and most of them really had a bearing on children's rights. So I'll sort of start from that point. When you assess, when COVID-19 came, what are those actions that government of Uganda took generally, and then perhaps later we can discuss how those affected children's rights?
When COVID-19 came, I know the government was trying to protect its citizens. That's its work. Then it closed schools, it closed places of worship, and then there were no places of leisure were also closed, and it brought all that. It was good. They wanted to protect everyone from COVID-19, prevent death. That's their work. And it has gone on. It's now 2 years. It's 2 years. For a child who has always gone to church every Sunday or been taken to the mosque.
I can notice your interest in church.
See, and then all of a sudden there's no going anywhere. They are stuck on let's say, the four walls.
Yes.
Inside the house, inside the gate, or within the compound. And then they cannot go swimming, they cannot go moving around with their friends, roaming. Okay, let me put in the village. Playing. Yeah. You see, going to the other neighbor. This it has brought a lot of
problems.
Mental.
Let's go for a quick break at this point, and perhaps when we return back, we'll have a deeper conversation around the effects of COVID-19 on children, You're watching You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. Today, we're discussing COVID-19 and how it has affected children's rights. Let's go for a quick break. We'll be right back.
When it comes to the law, we basically live the law, you know, on a day-to-day basis, you know. Whether it is in your bedroom, there is a law that governs it. If you're married, for example, even if you're single, there could be something touching on the law, because you might be in your bedroom with an underage girl, or you might be with another person's wife, you know. All the things are the law, you know.
If you're a human being, you have rights. Those rights are called human rights. They are examples: the right to health, the right to freedom from torture, that underscores human dignity, freedom from slavery. You're not supposed to be someone's slave.
If you look at our penal code, it sets out another marriage laws. It sets out the persons who can marry and those who cannot marry, right? For example, you can't marry your close relatives. You know, if you did, you'd be committing a crime.
The state is not supposed to tell you who to worship, how to worship, how many times a day. No, you have a right to work. A right to work. You have freedom of association.
Cohabitation for whatever period of time does not make you husband and wife, right? And that is why we emphasize to people that when the relationship is still hot, you know, you must ensure that you do what? Marry.
Yes.
You know?
For human rights to be respected, protected, and fulfilled, relevant government programs must actually work. Medicine should reach hospitals, oxygen should be there, health workers should have gloves, teachers should be present. Now they are mostly absent, and they have left the profession, a good number of them. They are into trading. So things must work. If things don't work, human rights are not respected, are not protected, and are not fulfilled.
COVID-19 has tested our hope and faith as individuals, families, and the country at large. Besides destroying many aspects of our lives, the novel coronavirus has also affected our human rights in many ways. You and the Law, the COVID edition, is a 30-minute weekly television program that focuses on the impact of COVID-19 on human rights in Uganda. The program engages experts to explain the importance of rights-based approaches to the success of any public health response to ensure the respect, protection, and fulfillment of human rights amidst the challenges presented by COVID-19. You and the Law, the television program, brought to you by Legal Hub Uganda, taking the law to the last mile in proud association with I4C Africa Hub and House of Talent Television, coming soon.
Welcome back. This is You and the Law, the COVID edition, here on House of Talent Television. My name is Jonathan Ochom, your host. Today we're discussing COVID-19 and how it has affected children's rights. And with me in studio is Ms. Sarah Awelo from the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity, popularly known as UCLF, at least among the lawyers. So Sarah, welcome from the break.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we went for the break, we started the conversation around COVID-19, the action that government took to curb down the virus, and how it has affected children. You started from the angle of education. I'm actually started from church, understandably, because you're from UCLF. So we could carry on the conversation around some of the other aspects that COVID-19 affected for children's rights.
Yes, for example, now when the schools were closed, and now the ones who are supposed to be in P1 have been in P1 for the last 2 years. There are children who have never stepped classes since the government closed. And you see, there's going to be a big difference between the children, like children from that village and this one's from the towns.
City.
So there's going to be, I'll say, an imbalance. There will be something wrong with that generation. Okay, I don't know how to put it, but I think it will be like that because these ones, there are those who are studying, there are those who are not. There are those who can afford the private teachers at home, and there are these children who have been seated at home. I remember one time I was in Dokolo, and we asked the children, they came and told me, no, we can't understand English. We left those ones 2 years ago. And I'm like, okay. So I said, okay, can I give you a pen and you write your name? That, me, I forgot. You see. So there is that. And then when we come to the girl child, there are those ones who have gotten pregnant. Hey, it's a big number. Yeah. And I just thought, if 100 girls get pregnant, those are 100 people 100 men or boys who are supposed to be in jail.
I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Yes. Every time I see it in my mind, I'm like, I just hope I get like 100 of those ones. They should be in jail. That's how it should be. Then there are those early marriages. Parents who have married off their daughters. So those ones are supposed to be in jail somewhere. So they're supposed to be in jail. Why? Because they are not protecting these children.
They are actually committing criminal.
Yes, they are committing more offenses. So for me, as I see numbers of girls getting pregnant, I keep wondering, are also that same number or more in jail because of the crimes they've committed, you know, and then there are those ones of child-to-child sex, and in my head I'm like, have they cancelled those ones? But you see, in Uganda we don't have those counselling services. The probation officers are overwhelmed also. But again, who cares to go to the probation officer to report or ask their child, like, oh, come and counsel, my child has been going through this. I'll give an example. In Kayunga, one of the boys was arrested for defilement. So I meet with this girl. In Kayunga, we handled, our work is mainly like with the state, with the state attorney. So I meet with this girl. I ask her, we talk. And she was like, no, I just want him to be cautioned. I'm like, are you sure? Wow. You want him to be cautioned, and then you want to go back to the same group. It needs a mindset. It took me, took us like 3 hours talking to her. And then I told her, so what do you want to become? She actually wanted to become a teacher. I'm like, so now when you get pregnant, how will you become a teacher? Because you'll have a child to look after. But for him, he'll have to continue with his education and what. After some thinking, he was like, I need him to be kept away for some time so that my mind can rest. Yeah. So we need a total, okay, what COVID has brought has destroyed the mindset of children. That's what I believe. And we need a change in the mindset of the children, that it doesn't matter when schools are closed, you can still get a book and read. But where will they get the books also from? The libraries, public libraries, do we even have them deep in the villages?
I mean, even in Kampala.
Even in Kampala, it's countable. And who goes there? Remember, there is no travel. When they closed completely and not moving everywhere, who will walk to come and get a book for the child to read? So we've had, COVID has brought a lot of negativity, I would put it, in the lives of the children. There would have been some positive things if the parents were sensitized early enough on how to raise children even when schools are closed.
Yeah. Sarah, you raised very, very touching, stories, which I know you've picked in the course of your work, and it's really chilling if you ask me. But I want us to have a conversation around the measures that government put in place to curb down COVID-19, and I'll ask you, how child-friendly were those measures? What's your assessment of, so for example, you're hearing of distribution of food, you're hearing about online learning, you're hearing about all these things that they put in place. How child-friendly, or what's your evaluation of those interventions? Let's start with the positives. What do you think worked? Yes, what do you think worked?
There's a positive, like thank you for those innovations like online schooling, but no, seriously, I sat. If you look at somebody in Dokolo, that's my village, so I can talk, and I know I have. They don't even have radios.
The government, I think, tried to give some radios. I don't know if they reached Dokolo.
It never reached.
Oh, okay.
I heard they were going to give radios. Where it died from, I don't know. But, you know, it didn't reach. Then they started saying they would distribute the books, like some books to schools and what. But did those books reach to the village? You see, there is the village school. Then there is the village school. You get?
Yeah.
Even in the village, there's a town and there's a
then
village.
There's a real village.
Yes. So there's that village school. Did it reach? Do those who don't even have clothes to put on, can they afford a smartphone? Can they sit and listen to UBC? Where will they get it from? I think it would have been, government would have just built a community place where children in the, but that also would have stopped the COVID.
Exactly, social distancing
social
issues.
distance.
Yeah.
So if you look at food, food was distributed, they gave milk.
Okay.
But you see, that food will not take the children for long. Let's say you distribute that food to a mother of 8 or 5.
Even just 3.
Or even just 3. Would that food take them? It wouldn't take them for long. I think, see, COVID surprised everyone. And I know the government was trying its best to provide for its citizens, and it tried. But maybe we need proper structures in the communities. We need the LCs to give us proper structures in the communities to say these are the number of children we have in the community, but these are their age brackets. So that even when the government is providing something, food, it's providing things, like during the COVID times, it knows that in this particular community, we have this number of children, these are their age brackets. So let's say between 15 and 17 or 18, these ones, let's provide them with, apart from sugar and what, I think they need pads, or they need this. So the government tried, but it had some up and down.
You talked about, food, milk. I was about to ask you if some of your relatives in Dokolo benefited from it, but perhaps that can be a conversation for another day. But Sarah, now you work a lot around juvenile justice, and I thought we could sort of pick your insights as well from the angle of juvenile justice. How did COVID affect that area? Because I know even before that, children already were having conflicts with the law. And like many people argue that COVID just came and worsened the situation. I don't know what your views you have, around that area.
The juvenile justice and children, maybe most children ended up going on the streets during this COVID time. They left school, they started looking for money. And I don't know how many will go back to school. We have parents bringing children to the organization for us to counsel them, because when they tried secondary, opened a bit the other time, the children didn't want to go back because now they were making money.
Oh, on the streets.
On the streets. Some of them, the parents took them to the garages to learn something, so they felt they have enough skills.
They've arrived.
They have arrived. They don't want to go back. And you find the parents crying, saying, let them go back for some medication and what. So there is that loophole going on that we need more guidance for the children at this particular time in this COVID-19. We are still in COVID-19 times. Yes. We are still in. And then what I've seen, there was a lot of violence in the homes and abuse in the homes. First of all, there was violence between the parents, but their escape route was school. when school got closed, they got entangled in the violence with the parents. And then they became the escape route.
Oh, for venting their anger.
For venting the anger. So they got all the pressure was thrown on them. They were beaten. When the mother again will blame, it's because of you, that's why I'm staying. So the child goes, no. Then the child is left. I remember one, Enoch, I won't give the other name, decided to even run away from home.
A child running away from home?
Yes, and he's 10.
Oh dear.
And then we had to cancel him. By the time we got him using police, he said for him he's tired of the work at home. It's routine. And he wants to also start going and playing with his peers. But the parents are saying, no, the peers go drinking and what we don't want him to be a part of that.
Which is a fair point.
Which is a fair point. But I think for him it's like, I'm tired of being in this thing. But
four corners.
Four corners. And he comes from his parents drink also a lot and what, so they leave him with all the work. So he said for him, he's tired of the work, he rather goes on the street and vent for himself.
Sarah, you, some of the stories you're sharing are, quite chilling. Viewers, you're watching You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television. Today we are discussing children's rights. How has COVID-19 affected the rights of children in Uganda? What do we need to do? How do we protect children further during these extraordinary times? Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll give a sneak peek into the future. How do we get out of the mess that we find ourselves now from the angle of protecting children? Let's go for a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back from the break. This is You and the Law, the COVID edition here on House of Talent Television with me, Jonathan Ochom. Today we are discussing children's rights and how they've been affected by COVID-19. And with me in studio is Sarah Awelo, lead counsel for the GBV program at the Uganda Christian Lawyers Fraternity. Sarah, welcome from the break.
Thank you.
So we need to sort of look into the future. You've clearly given us really chilling accounts of the different situations children find themselves in because of COVID-19 and the different initiatives that, that government has tried to do, as well as parents. Now we need to think about anything that could happen 5 or 10 years from now, because we're not sure when the virus will come to an end. We don't know if anything else could emerge in future. So as a country, that calls for preparation. So now I'll now ask you, looking at what the government of Uganda has done, what lessons do we learn from these interventions, from the angle of protecting children's rights? And perhaps later on we shall talk about recommendations. But what do you think we learn from our current intervention, our current experience trying to protect children amidst COVID-19?
What do we learn? We need everyone in the society to stand up, like to really get together and form a relationship. Doesn't matter the political party or whatever. We need to, religion, we need to first put away differences and come together and say we need to fight. We can't even fight COVID because we don't know much about it. But how do we protect people? Yes, they're saying immunization, but the children can't be immunized. And I was looking at children living with HIV, AIDS. During that lockdown, how were they getting their medication? It was hard. Then there were those children with cancer who were told to go back home. and then it is later that they started trying to get doctors on motorbikes to go and deliver the medication. But see, when there's a break in their medication, it brings more it brings more issues.
Yeah.
And no one talked about the children who died during that time because of medication, not having medication in time and what, or who have fallen back in their thing. So we need to learn to have a standby. We have to have community, maybe say there are paralegal paramedics in the communities, and these paramedics should reach out to it should be in every parish, every village. We should have paramedics, so that if something happens like this in future, we have our paramedics already to reach out to children, children with disabilities, children living with HIV/AIDS, you know, even the normal children when they fall sick. You see, moving was that you have to go and get permission first. Yes. But if we had paramedics in the villages, it would be so easy. We wouldn't have this fallback a lot. And then maybe we should, even the parents who are not dedicated, I know they can teach math somehow. They would teach in the local language. Math can be taught in the local language.
1 + 1.
With the stones and what. But maybe we should try and get teachers and pay them more on how to reach areas. They're saying paying the scientists, but also the art teachers, because these art teachers are the ones going to teach English to the scientists.
And they need English to pass science.
They need English to pass science. So we need the art teachers also. But if we could pay them hard to reach area more money, just because they are in those communities, maybe build for them proper housing facilities, so that even when this happens, we have teachers who will go reach out to villages to see that the children are listening, or the children are studying at least twice a week. If a teacher appears before a child and they go through some of the it refreshes them and tells them, stay with this, next week I'll pass by. So we need that to keep people to reach out to stay in the communities.
What of in terms of juvenile justice, in terms of keeping children safe from the law, ensuring that, you know, their rights? You talk about violence at the family level, you talked about environment and kind of things. How do we, in future, what do we need to do to ensure that if we find ourselves in this situation, this is how we shall protect children against sexual assault, for example?
We need to empower our local community, our LCs. And also first we need to empower the children. Do they know what the bad touch is? We were just trying to teach them before they went to lockdown. Where do they go? Do they know where to go to? Most of them are threatened after defilement. They're told, don't speak, or else we'll kill you, we'll kill your family. Then some of them, like this one who said, I was told to go, and they told him, you stand outside, we are going to give you a TV. But these thieves were coming to rob the grandmother. Oh dear. But they told him, we shall give you a TV where you'll watch every day. You don't have to ask permission or what. So they entered in the house for him. He stood to see that no one comes in. And then in the process, they killed the grandmother. Oh. So it was during the burial that he kept saying, but this one was the last to, these people entered the house. Then they said grandmother has died. So they're like, how did you know? So he gives the story. So he was arrested and told to go and tell these other people, take us to these people. So the other co-accused were arrested. And maybe he was charged with murder.
Oh, the child?
Yes. Because he was in the whole chain. But he couldn't understand it, you know. But, and he kept saying, most of them will call you auntie. Auntie, I didn't do it. I'm like, yes, you didn't do it. I didn't kill. I'm like, yes, you did. It is those ones, they entered. But if we could empower our children and tell them that they have this obligation. Yes, they have the rights, but they have the obligation. They have obligations to respect the society, respect their children. They have obligation to do work at home. They have, we have something we expect from them, even if we are giving them rights. So that they grow up knowing it's not about watching TV throughout. You have to also do something. Maybe that would help them. Not so that people do not sweet talk them. How are we talking to our daughters? How are we training our daughters? Will somebody give them, say, if you come and I do this to you, or I touch your breast, I will give you 500. And it's a coin, a 500 coin. And most of them can say, and you gave me a 500 coin to keep quiet. Or after being defied, it comes and say, they gave me 1,000. Is there a way we can teach them about value? How do they value themselves from young? You see, a child gets to understand from the time they are born. That's why they cry when they are hurt. So we need to teach value to the children from when they are young. But value is got if the person teaching them also has value. So do the parents have value to pass over? So should the government also? So we need to empower the local council to empower the community. We need to empower the religious leaders to empower the community. We also need to empower the witch doctors, the herbalists, and teach them, because you see, they are the ones who when somebody is arrested, they will say, the witch doctor told me if I sleep with a girl, my problems will be solved. So if we teach these witch doctors that the law says if they ever get you, if you are arrested, like even for sacrifice, child sacrifice, you will be penalized, you will be held for murder, you will go in for life. This is what the law says. There's a way they will trick. They will start telling the person, your problems will be done, let me put something on your hands, and then you go and work. The person just playing with your mind. They just play with their minds and go. I had an opportunity of talking to a witch doctor. Okay.
You're seeking their services.
We were sensitizing.
Oh, okay.
And you see in Kayunga, they are so proud to come and say how they are witch doctors because they are really respected in the community. Yes. So I said, okay. So we kept talking, and then I told him, but now instead of giving these women who come and complain about their husbands, or the husbands come and complain about their women. So he says for him what he does, he gets, it's a herb, it's actually a herb, and then he tells them when he starts quarreling, you put it in your mouth and bite it. So the lady keeps biting, so she doesn't reply to the quarrels. Then the man keeps quiet. And then she will start saying, oh, my husband actually changed, he stopped quarreling. But she doesn't know, it's because she did not answer back, so there was no one to...
There was no need for a fight.
There was no need for a fight, you know. So if we need also to empower them, the herbalist, you see how Mama Fina tries to help out, but if we empower her with the law, how much
information
more?
On the law.
Information on the law. Then she empowers her people. You know, so many people follow her. So we need to get those people who are the community blessed, like the community look up to.
Yeah. You mentioned about the child, being charged with a criminal offense, and I thought perhaps we'll take advantage of your presence to talk about criminal responsibility for children, because there's always emphasis on rights, like you correctly said, but also for children to know that you have responsibilities even during COVID-19. You could just run up through about, what's the law on, criminal children's responsibility. At 5 years, do they become...
No. When it's 12 years and when they're less than 12 years, from 11, they are not criminally liable.
Okay.
But
so you can do anything in that age.
But you see there, we can get the LC to beat. I don't believe you just do something as a child and you walk away with it.
Yes.
No. But from 12, they are criminally liable, and they can be arrested. They're taken to the remand homes, and we have remand homes all over Uganda.
Yes.
And the main one is Camp Pilipisa. That's how they pronounce it. It's long.
Yeah. Is that on the Masaka Highway?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they are taken there, and they are taken how they are taught. They are taught on vocational training, making wood, tools, but they're trained from that side. Now they're taken to the remand home at Naguru, where they're also taught, but they are liable, but they also need to know that. So if we also teach them that from 12 years, we shall really jail you in the children's jail if you misbehave, then there is also, I think they will also change their behavior. But also these ones below 12, like from 11 downwards, may I believe a child will understand. We will not be like whites all the time and say you're going to be taken to a punishment corner and stand there. No, I think a few 2 sticks will get the person. Hey, even the Bible says spare the road and spoil the child. So we will not allow sparing the road, because what? As I started, we want our children are the future of our nation. So we are not going to let them get away with anything, but we shall stick, as the Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yes.
No, we are going to see that they are all brought up in a godly manner, whereby in the future we shall have less corruption.
They're indeed the future.
Yes. If they have less corruption, they know the law. Yes.
Sarah, as we come to the end of this show, just as sort of your final concluding remarks, and how do we then get out of this mess as a country in 30 seconds?
How do we get out of this mess?
Protect children, yes.
And protect children. We all have to come together.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about your religion, your party, your what. Come together. Let us see in each of our neighborhood who is a teacher in the neighborhood. We need to be the eyes of the parents in the neighborhood. Let us go back to saying it takes a village to raise a child.
Okay.
Don't let somebody's child be doing something wrong and you just say that's not my child. Take responsibility.
Okay, Sarah makes a very compelling point. We should take responsibility. We have to protect children during COVID-19 by following the law, empowering people with information so that they know that an extraordinary time like the pandemic is not an opportunity for you to exploit children, but rather to actually protect their rights. With that, we've come to the end of today's edition of You and the Law. I've been your host, Jonathan Ochom. Next week, we'll have another conversation on yet another human right which has been affected by the virus. Until then, bye.
Engineered in the heart of the pearl, one face, 4 perspectives, embracing a hip, urban and dynamic community, keeping dibs on the constantly evolving African scene, fanning the hottest talent in Uganda and beyond, inspiring beautiful minds across the world, literally changing the game on television. This is XXL TV Show Season 4. Go big or go home. Otherwise, be inspired.
I'm a child of the Most High God, set apart for His glory. I'm a child of the Most High God, set apart for His glory. You are a child of the Most High God, set apart for His glory. You're a child of the Most High God, set apart for His glory. Mukama chengu sabeji sacho kumbukana na kumbuda buda. Ensulo zemi kisa jo kunjota na kundukuza. Make them glorify when them sing me glorify. Make them glorify you when they sing me glorify. Let your blessings and your fire follow me. Let your blessings and your fire follow me. Fire follow me. Let your fire follow me. Fire follow me. Let your fire follow me. Praise and magnify. Now I praise and magnify. Praise and magnify. Now I praise and magnify. Let your blessings and your fire follow me. Let your blessings and your fire follow me. Fire follow me. Let your fire follow me. Fire follow me. Let your fire follow me. See me step on the enemy. Witness me step on the enemy. See me step on the enemy. Witness me step on the enemy. I'm a child of the Most High God. Glory. I'm a child of the Most High God. You are a child of the Most High God. Glory. You're a child of the Most High God. Set apart for His glory.
You want inside me like an amplifier. With a ban, every fresh desire. Like the Holy Spirit with the holy fire. From glory to glory, He might take me higher. And serving you is my hearty desire. And then the righteousness be my long attire. Jesus blood and data me a please. Holy gabi we are coming star.
Uri mu mutima wanjye sinza kwitesha. Agakiza wamaye kandutira byose. Ubuzima bwanjye bufite intego ni wowe nkesha. Kubaho kwanjye ni wowe byiringiro bizima. Yesu,
give me the blessing so that me can prosper. Me only daddy and me papa and me doctor. Water me get every time when me thirsty. Oh yes, you love me. Daily yes, you dey put food for me on the platter. And then your eyes watch over me. And then the heart full of praise and thanks knock me over. Ain't your light inside? I feel alive inside. I cannot deny.
uri mu mutima wanjye sinza kwitesha. Agakiza wamaye kandutira byose. Ubuzima bwanjye bufite mwiza wamaye kandutira byose ubuzima bwanjye bufite intego ni wowe nesha kubaho kwanjye ni wowe byiringiro bizima Yesu
my hearty desire and the righteousness be my long attire. Jesus blood and that me a please. Holy gabi we are coming style.
mbakumbuze igitaramo cy'iwacu iwacu turatarama ngwino urare iwacu turatarama ngwino urare iyo dukoze ku nyamirya iz'ubuhuha n'inkomangano biratwizihira cyane mpamagare muhigirwa ni Nyaruguru mu muhamirizo w'intore Sebaganji babukwege aseruke mu byivugo byiza mpamagare Sebatunzi ayihere mu miyuki akubwira intaha na batatu yaruta mu kinyange cyarutiruka mu bakemba tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka iwacu turatarama ngwino urare tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka turatarama ngwino urare tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka
Epana biso tolinga kobina Epana biso tolinga kosepela Ka elongo Tolinga tosepela tosangisa betolingana
tugusogongeze ku ntango y'amahoro kwibutsa umugani wa Nyashya na Baba inkuru ya Saruhara rwa Nkomokomo Cyacana ndetse na Ngunda tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka iwacu turatarama ngwino urare aho dutaramiye nta rungu tugutaramire kandi uzagaruka
karama ijoro tukaritahanze cyambere wampaye inka cyuringanje reka ntugatsikire cyuringanje nuko umuco wacu ntugacindishe.
Private sector is not yet fully utilized because not everybody can be employed by government. And we are looking at a future whereby more people are employed in the private sector than in government. So I think if we all work hard, if we all work together and invest in the right areas, there's been a lot of talk about value addition in the agriculture sector, in the mineral sector. If there is enough investment in those areas, I think it can create enough jobs for our children and grandchildren.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to take you to question number 4, Andrew, which is, let's talk about your journey at City Hall and the foray into the Executive Director's office, which is as Andrew Chitaka,
Very interesting.
as well as the Director Engineering.
Very interesting. I joined KCCA on 1st November 2011. And before then, I was
for so much. CEO of whatever. They give so much.
This is the reason why you're actually on the bench.
Because of my credibility. Thank you so much. But now they attack you, they vilify you. And the goal is to weaken you financially. Is to weaken your honor. These are slanderers. So I'm glad that someone would stay up at night to ask and learn about me. And I pray that in the next 2 months, because I know many Ugandans who travel overseas, when they go there, one of the things, because the media has been so much, and Sam Kutesa, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has really not done a good job. He has dropped the ball on this issue. Why? So many of us are being accused of being gay killers, including me. You've just heard that person. Uganda is being accused that we kill gays, which actually is absolutely untrue. And because of this, it has affected our tourism. It affects people who go overseas to do work or study. It affects whenever you go to a conference. Hi, my name is Eddie Okiela. Where are you from? I'm from Uganda. Oh, you are the gay killers. And then you begin to describe. So one of the things that I've done is I've written a book, which should be coming out. I know that I keep saying the same thing, but the work of doing a book takes a long time, and I wish I could be supported. You know, many people who write on this subject, like Sylvia Tamale, she's supported by the Rockefeller Foundation, Carnegie Foundation. There is money.
Is a very big brand, and as we go on, we will probably discuss the things we're trying to do to see that things change for the better. Good. Sean, on the CEO bench, for everyone who is following, we're live on our YouTube studio where we actually stream from. So YouTube studio, for everybody asking for a link, is actually House of Talent Uganda.
Confident in themselves and what they are offering.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest problem. Like, women will easily settle for a less pay than men would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mona Onyeto goes on to say, or I think this is a comment, says, I didn't know that beauty products are taxed at 60%. Whoa.
They are. I pray that changes soon, but they are.
Okay. So
Yeah.
with that challenge of 60%,
setting up the company, you're doing tours all across the world. You know, a personal account is great, but how these things are taxed becomes important for you know, for your business later on. As soon as you cross that threshold of 50 million a year, you know, you're now in
the interest become more
shares.
Yes. What will be the legacy of Divine Nabarisi?
Okay, so I mean, you do your best. You do your best and hope that you're going to have impact in your work. So our impact is measured in avoided deforestation, meaning that for every one seedling we plant, we are saving, for example, an acre of bamboo could potentially save 2 acres of hardwood trees every year. Then a ton of briquettes of bamboo is potentially saving X number of charcoal from being produced. So in terms of avoided deforestation, in terms of avoided emissions, but also in terms of opportunities that we give to women, we hope that our impact will be that women have more time for productive work instead of having to walk kilometers to collect firewood, for example, or the dangers they face while they're going to collect firewood. We hope that that would be the impact. Improved health, instead of cooking from the 3-stone fire that traditionally we we in Africa are used to cooking on, that now they can have improved means of cooking. That would be an impact. The youth we are training, the opportunities, the income generation opportunities that we are creating, and also inspiring other young people and other women that you can come up with an idea that you believe in, and if you give it your all and give it time, eventually you will make a difference.
It is a CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela. Welcome to the program. It's live on House of Talent Television. And of course, this particular show today, we are going to be talking to a very special guest with a very wide, votes of nomination to be brought to the CEO Bench. It's not the typical CEO Bench. The CEO Bench focuses on the community leadership, the community development, and people who are developing talent at a very low end, but taking us to the global. His name is Jackson Mubiru, coming all the way from Uganda Skateboard Union. Yes, Uganda has skateboard. Who thought that we'll be having this happening at the backyard of the capital city of Uganda? Straight to the world. Jackson, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
And how are you, first of all?
I'm doing well.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much for hosting me here, and also to have a good opportunity to introduce myself to you, and also to show you what I'm trying to do in our country, Uganda.
Yes. Thank you very much. We very much want to welcome you onto the program, Jackson. I want to start from a very lighter note, Jackson. Just if you tell us more about you. Who is Jackson? And, what are the values that define you as a person?
Jackson, I'm a person who is like you, but I'm like, I always think, I need to think what's coming. I need to, I think the vision where, the way how I did, I was I thought of sports, and I need to introduce something which is unique, but skateboarding, nobody knew about this kind of game. I started this project in 2005 with my two friends, one from South Africa, his name was called Shoswat, and then another one from Canada, his name was Brian Lai. So those two guys, they taught me a lot of things, because that is the time when they invited me to go to South Africa, and I copy from South Africa, I paste in Uganda.
Wow. All right, that's a very nice one. The fact that you copy and you're doing it in Ugandan way. But if I am going back to know Jackson, are you Ugandan? If yes, which part of this country do you come from? What are the values that define you as Jackson?
Yes.
I'm
Ugandan. I'm from Mamba clan. The word Mubiru means Mamba. Mamba clan. And I'm coming from that part of Chiboga. Yeah, that's where my backbone parents, where they come from. And I'm staying in Ichitintale. That's where I grew up, and I decided to make something which is strong, whereby people, at least I can live the history, because I grew up there. But so many people, they grew up in different areas, but they never make something. But for me, I decided to put something historical. Yes, but I'm 40 years. I'm a married guy. I have 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls, and that's where I grew up from. So if you you want to know me, if you reach in Chitintale, you ask Jack, Mubiru Jack. They will say, the one for skateboarding. So that's so they know Jackson Mubiru, the skateboarder in Ichitintale.
Wow. Jackson, let's just take me back a little bit, just to know you a little bit more. Were you in sports before?
Man, for me, Okay, the way how I grew up.
Yes.
Man, I was a crazy guy. I was like, you know, my dad was a soldier.
Yes.
So I studied in army school.
Yes.
So in Mbuya Barracks. Yes. But no, that school is no longer there. It's now a barracks.
I also studied in army school when early days. Yes, in my primary school. Yes.
So I used to be a crazy guy.
Yeah.
And I used to skate on the road.
Yes.
And I was like, my parents, they were like, anyway, I was totally sportsman. I know how to make backsummer. I know how to play football. I know rugby. But I end up dropping into skateboarding.
Okay. When you say that you were crazy, a crazy guy, crazy as in sports, or crazy as a boxer, crazy and what is it?
Anyway, being crazy,
yes.
I was like trying to investigate more about sports and where can I fall in.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not crazy by mentally disturbed, no, but I was crazy. I tried to make a research where I can fall in sports.
Okay.
Yeah, because I tested different kind of sports.
Yes.
Football, martial arts, rugby, hockey. So those are the things which I'm trying to say that I was crazy in sports.
Okay. Jackson, you said you were a son of a soldier.
Yeah.
Normally, soldiers are not usually available for their children. When you started doing sports and studying in the barracks, of course, seeing all these things, you didn't end up as a soldier. Maybe you'll get up as a soldier. We'll get to know that very much. But how did your father react to your talent and trying to get your different giftings in sports?
And my dad was a simple guy.
Yes.
He was a general, by the way.
Yes.
And he used to like the way how you can talk your son. By the way, he told me, Jack, I don't want you to see me when I'm having all these like their entire army thing. Yes. He never wanted me to admire him.
Yes.
Because he was a soldier. Because he was like he used to tell me, Jack, never enter the army.
Yeah.
Never. Don't. Then I was like, why? Say, no, do what I'm saying, don't do what I'm doing.
Yes.
And my dad, he told me, respect anybody who is wearing a uniform.
Yeah.
Either is a police, army, either is a security guard, respect those people because they suffer a lot. So I don't want you to become any security organ.
Yes.
So that is my first time to understand what my dad was.
Yeah.
Then the next thing I said, now let me try to find my way.
Yes.
So I entered into sports, and he was like, he supported me because where the skate park is, it was my father's land.
Okay.
They donated the land to me after investigating my talent.
Yeah.
So that's where I began from.
Okay. And when your mom, when you talk about this, was your mom supporting you when you're trying to be a sports person? She didn't want you to be a doctor, engineer. These things, in sports, they never saw a lot of things in it. And so I said, no, Jack, no, I want you to be a doctor. I want to be, an engineer or a pilot.
I get
What was your mom saying?
I get. By the way, at the beginning, both my parents, they couldn't know what I was doing.
Yes.
Because I first buy skating shoes, a rollerblade, and I used to skate on the road.
Yeah.
But my parents, they started hearing rumors.
Yes.
Your son is skating on the road, he's faster than a car. You know that Kamwes.
Yeah, that's what is going. That's what you're doing because that's some serious stuff on the screen right there.
Exactly.
Yes.
So they never wanted me to be part of this sport because they said, you man, you are taking your risk on the road. You what? Yes. No, we can't allow you.
To die. Yes.
Exactly. But in fact, they kept my skating thing away from me, and they kept it somewhere. They never wanted me to be part of that sport.
And Muse never gave you some
never,
cane, how they usually cane the young.
Exactly, because they never gave me that chance.
Okay.
And by the time I used to train in Bogolobi, you know where MTN is?
Yes.
There was a signpost there.
Yes.
So
for car testing and
exactly.
stuff. Yes.
I used to escape from school, then I come for skateboarding. So, and the parents were like, this guy, he doesn't want to study, every 24 hours is in skateboarding. What's wrong with this guy?
Wow.
So they decided to take me in the boarding school.
Wow.
So
well, we're talking to Jackson. If you're joining the CEO band, this particular CEO band is dedicated to sports. Jackson Mubiru is coming from the Uganda Skateboard Union, the first of its kind, the man who has pioneered a very interesting city-born, sport in Uganda, and now preparing the Ugandans to go for Olympics Paris 2024. That's why Jackson is here with a very huge nomination. So if you are into sports, if you like community development, today we're going to be talking to Jackson about leadership in community, change management in community, and transformation with Jackson in a community. How do you turn around your story in your community like Jackson and to be a leader in that community? That's what we're talking to Jackson about. Jackson, let me take you back a little bit on this, but it's a very interesting story before we go for a break.
Yes.
All this escaping and going to school, we want to understand something from you.
Yeah.
Where did you develop your love for skateboarding from? Because we always think, were you watching too much movies? What were you doing? How did you get into skateboard and did not stay into either boxing or stay into football or stay into volleyball? Like me, I stayed in volleyball, but you went into skateboard. And skateboard is really for very affluent sort of community in the backyard of developed cities. How did you end up there?
Automatically, for this, where I go, what inspired me?
Yes.
I was a guy who used to watch cartoons.
Yes.
And my favorite channel was DSTV. Yes. So on DSTV, I used to watch the channel called the X Games.
Yes.
There's X Games.
Yes, yes.
So on that X Games, there was a channel which showed skateboarding.
Yeah.
And I was watching a guy called Tony Hawk.
Yes.
So Tony Hawk used to skate. He jump. He make, airs. He make a lot of flips. What and what.
Yeah.
I was like, that was my first time to watch this guy. Yeah. I was like, what? No, this is impossible.
Yeah. And coming from back summer,
exactly.
You were like, yes.
And I was like, no way. How can someone step on the board and you jump? You make air on it.
Yes.
No way. So I was like, So I used to watch that channel. So one day, in 2005, it was in 2004.
Yes.
That was a day when they are opening, reaching at the gate.
Yeah.
I saw a guy holding a skateboard.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, this is the guy whom I watched.
Yes.
This
was the photo on the door, yes.
Exactly. No, it was a real guy holding a skateboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I need to ask this guy. I saw him on TV. I watched him on TV.
Yes.
Let me ask him.
Yes.
So I went to the guy. The guy we were in the same age, mate.
Yes.
And the guy, I said, hey, I saw you. I watched you on TV. The guy was like, me? No, I don't want to talk to strangers.
Yes.
So that the guy even, the guy, I disturbed the guy.
Yeah.
He entered the supermarket. I entered the supermarket.
Yes.
I said, please.
They didn't kick you out.
They didn't.
Yes.
Because they thought that we are together. I used that chance.
Yes.
That guy, he told me, why don't you leave me? I don't know you. I said, please, can I step on this guy? I want also to step on it.
Yes.
Please, teach me how to skate. Yeah. The guy was like, no, until the parents came.
Yes.
And was like, what's wrong with you guys? You are disorganizing the supermarket,
Yes.
Yeah. The guy said, I don't know this guy, but he want the parents. They said, okay, we have understood.
Yes.
He need a skateboard.
Yeah.
Please, share with him a skateboard. These are the parents.
Yeah.
So, that is the time when I stepped on the skateboard inside the supermarket.
Wow.
I fell down.
Yes.
So the supermarket attendant, they were like,
yes.
you guys.
Yes.
So they told us, you move out and you skate from outside.
Yes.
So that was my first time.
Okay.
That guy, his name was Shoswat from South Africa.
Yeah.
He's the guy whom he taught me how to skate.
Yeah.
We came together, we became friends.
Yeah.
that is the way how.
Wow, wow. Well, we're talking to Jackson. Jackson is the co-founder of the Skateboard Union of Uganda. What a fantastic, phenomenal story right there of how Jackson actually ended up in skateboard. Isn't it amazing that when you're actually looking for something, you're able to get it? I think it is clear that Jackson is a self-leader, and we're going to take a break. And when we come back, the CEO bench will dive deep into leadership. How did Jackson lead himself? What is his understanding of leadership? How does he manage change from being a child to being now a man raising children who are preparing to go for Olympics? Stay right there. The CEO bench will be right back after the break. And if you have a comment, please share it far and wide with Jackson. If you have a question, we'll definitely answer it. We'll be right back after this. Edio Killer, Jackson, signing out for a coffee break on the CEO bench. We'll be right back after this.
Now I'm going to talk to my people.
Yes.
Because I like what, as we are saying, vive la France, vive la francophonie. So, le leadership, c'est quoi? Le leadership, ce n'est pas le fait d'intimider les gens ou bien de dominer les gens, non. Le leadership, c'est le fait d'aider les gens à suivre le bon chemin. Parce qu'il y a des gens qui sont là, ils ne savent même pas par quel chemin emprunter. Il y a des gens qui ont même étudié, mais ils ne savent pas quel business ils doivent faire. Maintenant, l'idée, quand tu rencontres une personne pareille, tu vas l'orienter. Non, tu peux faire mieux que ce que tu fais. Non, la peur que tu as là ne va pas te tuer. Tu peux aller au-delà de la peur. L'idée, c'est comme j'avais donné l'exemple, allow me to go a little bit deeper. J'avais donné l'exemple ici en français, en anglais, pardon. La vidéo que j'avais vue à propos de chiens, il y avait un groupe de chiens au niveau du Canada et il n'y avait pas de l'eau. Pourquoi? Parce qu'il y avait, la neige, il n'y avait pas la place pour que tout le monde puisse boire de l'eau. Mais il y avait seulement une petite place pour le boss que je vais appeler. Et il ne voulait pas que les autres puissent venir boire de l'eau, comme il était boss, il intimidait les gens. Mais il y avait un petit garçon, un petit chien qui était là à côté. Il a eu l'idée de briser la glace, là où il y avait pas, parce que l'eau était en dessous et il n'y avait pas moyen de boire, mais le petit chien a brisé et tout le monde a vu ce qu'il faisait. Ils sont venus, ils ont commencé à briser et tous ont profité avec l'eau potable. Et le boss était laissé comme un vaurien. Personne ne le faisait encore confiance parce qu'il n'était pas là pour les aider. Il était là pour le faire peur, les intimider. Mais l'idée, c'est quelqu'un qui est là pour aider quelqu'un à avancer jusqu'à son destin, à sa vision. Parce que nous avons tous nos visions, mais c'est la peur des fois qui nous arrête. Merci mon ami.
Welcome back from that break. This is a CEO Bench. My name is Edio Killer, live on House of Talent Television. We're live on Twitter, on Facebook, and on our YouTube studio. Please go there and share it far and wide. Subscribe and be part of the bigger family, growing bigger and better, far and wide. And of course, to all our people, Ugandans in the diaspora, who have voted overwhelmingly for Jackson. Over 1.8 million Ugandans follow House of Talent TV in the diaspora, and we want to say thank you very much for following Ugandan television and following Ugandan's program, and also picking interest to be, aware of what is happening at home here. So thank you very much, every Ugandan in the diaspora, and of course to the wider family of the CEO Bench, followers all across the world. Thank you. I would like to say shout out to my brother and another mother, JB, all the way in Belgium. JB, thank you very much. Shout out to you. And of course, we want to send a very big shout out to Edwin in Germany. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being part of the CEO Bench. And of course, Dennis in Australia, we want to say thank you very much. Of course, to the people who comes from the Kitintali area, Kampala Center, this is for you. Jackson is here representing all of you guys. And we're going to dive into change management. Leadership Change Management and Transformation. Jackson, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much.
And Jackson is the co-founder of Uganda Skateboard Union. Jackson, we want to take you straight to this question. What is your understanding of leadership, Jackson? How do you define leadership?
Leadership, on my understanding, this is whereby you can you can be having something in your mind to do something, and that's something which you are trying to do. You may think that you are gonna do it as yourself, but at the end of the day, people supported you. People, they can support you. Then after also you have a vision. You can bring something which is important to them. Those people, they started following you. They can listen to you. At the end of the day, you came together with them. You understand? And also you can do something which is visible to them. Then you become together. At the end of the day, they started following you. You become like their head. At the end of the day, like, let me say, for example, for me at the beginning, I started this. I thought this is my passion. But finally, I saw some people started coming. We came together. So right now, I have a lot of people whom I'm helping. You understand? So from being your passion, then it expanded. From the expansion, people started following you. You became together. That's my understanding of leadership.
Wow, wow. Well, Jackson, thank you very much for that one. I want to just take you straight. So do you think Jackson Mubiru is a leader? And what kind of a leader are you, Jackson?
Anyway, this...
Given your explanation, do you think Jackson Mubiru is a leader?
Please, I'm a leader.
And if you're a leader, what kind of leader do you think Jackson is, by you knowing yourself very well?
So for me, honestly speaking, I never knew that I would become a leader. But honestly, I'm a leader. Why? You know, when I did something, and a lot of people, they are proud of me. At the end of the day, I'm helping them. So I have kids whom I'm looking after. I'm like their dad. So it's like a family. A father in the family is the head of the family. He's the lead of the family.
Wow.
So I'm a leader.
So would you say that Jackson is a transformative leader, or are you a transactional leader? Transactional means that you just transact, you do business with people as a leader. Or would you say what you're doing, you're transforming people in your area, therefore you're a transformative leader?
Yeah, I'm a transforming. By the way, my community, I'm a change maker.
Okay.
I'm transforming my community using a sport. You get me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a leader. I'm transforming using a skateboard to the community. And it's now countrywide.
Wow.
Yeah, because you check skateboarding where it started in Chitintare. So it's from Chitintare, it went wider. From there, even East Africa, because our skate park is the first on its kind in East Africa.
Wow.
So,
wow. Yeah. Well, I would like to say that Jackson is actually a transformative leader, but we want to know from you, given Jackson's story from where we have reached right now in this interview on the CEO bench, do you think that Jackson is a transformative leader, a transactional leader, or is a laissez-faire leader? This program is about leadership, change management, and transformation, and we're talking to the co-founder of Uganda's Skateboard Union, Jackson Mubiru. who is in the studio right now, and you're hearing his story. So we want you to vote. We want your comments, kisses and disses coming. We're okay with it. And as sportsmen, we don't, you know, get annoyed. We want to hear from you. Please vote for Jackson, and we want to know whether he's a transformative leader. And also you who are listening to the program or listening into the program, what part of leadership do you think Jackson is? Jackson, I want to take you straight to my next question. Now that we've talked about leadership, I want to hear more from you.
Yes.
Which projects do you want to develop in these next years, and why are you very much passionate about skateboard?
By the way, I love my country.
Yes.
Uganda.
Yes.
And I always move. Yeah. This sport, it has made me, I'm reaching this sport.
Yeah.
Not by money.
Yeah.
No. But I've traveled.
Yes.
Almost all over Germany, US, and I always move and I watch things which we don't have here. I want to bring it here.
Yeah.
This is the way how I brought skateboarding in Uganda.
Yeah.
I went to South Africa, and I came back. I said, no, I need to bring here to my country.
But Jackson, most people leave this country, most Ugandans leave this country, or most Africans leave the country, and when they go to another country, don't want to come back. But yet you were saying you left, you want to come back and bring this here. What is your motivating factor?
My motivating factor, I want to raise up my country. I want to raise up my country, these new generations, to be inspired, to be proud of their country.
Yeah.
For me, I've moved different countries, but I don't want to stay in those countries. People, they invite me. I always go there. They are really interested in me to visit them.
Yes.
But what I do, I copy from there, I bring them here. I copy and paste here.
Yes, yes.
Why?
Yeah.
This game skateboarding started in California in 1960s.
Yes.
It got its birthday in Uganda in 2005. How many years are those? Imagine. Which means Europe, Asia, they are far from Uganda.
Yes.
So nobody knew about skateboarding.
Yeah.
You understand?
We only used to see it on TV.
Exactly.
We don't know
A lot of people, they know that we have a skateboard in Uganda.
Yeah.
You know what? Ugandan, we are funny guys.
Yes.
We Ugandans, if you have your secret, get a book, write it inside, cover it, put it somewhere. For us, we don't want to read. Ugandan is. That's what I know. So, so for me, I always move out. I bring in what I've seen here. I love my country, for God and my country. So that's why I want my country to be also recognized by the other countries.
Okay.
So you see now, if you talk about the history of skateboarding, Uganda was #1 to have a skate park. Second country was Tanzania. The third country was Kenya. The fourth was Rwanda. You see the way how. So we also have history. Uganda has a history.
And we're very proud of you on that one. I think that if you're watching this program, Jackson deserves a very big round of applause. In fact, Jackson, on that note, we need to toast to this coffee. Please, I want you to pick your cup. We need to toast to this coffee, because I think this has been a very fantastic conversation going forward. Yes.
Thank you.
And while we have coffee, Jackson, and I want you to take a sip of your coffee, I wanted to go straight to how do you see in fact, before I go there, I know you've talked about what you want to do and the stuff that you want to do. I want to take you straight to my next question here, Jackson, which is, apart from Kampala and, what you're already doing in Kitintali, are you planning some of this to go to other areas of Uganda? Because this is a very transformative sport. But first of all, we want to know from you, what is the learning of you setting this thing in Kitintali, that you think that if you take it all across Uganda, it will help other communities to develop and bring out the talent that can take us to World Cup or to Olympics?
Yeah, I love that question. Do you know why I love that question? Because Kitintale is a ghetto slum area, and it is in the middle of the capital city. The reason why that spot was there it is because my dream started from there, and I tried to share this passion with some of the head of sports, like National Council, but they never knew what was coming in the future. And
what did they say to you when you introduced it to them?
They never knew about the sport. They never knew. And you know, when something is it's not included in their programs, they can't listen to you.
Wow.
You get my point?
Yes.
Because nobody knew about skateboarding, that it will go in the Olympics. But for me, I knew. Why? Because the people whom I'm staying with, those European guys, they always tell me, Jack, in this year, hopeful we shall have this. So for me, I had a vision.
Yeah.
But my sports leaders, they never listen to me.
Yeah.
Which is not bad.
Yeah.
But for me, I say, I will not wait for the Karamajong to develop. They will find me in front.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
For me, my father's land, that's where I first put.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, because I never had money to buy land, to put it or somewhere where there is a nice place, I said, no, let me put it in that place, and it is a ghetto
where
place.
you have control.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, it has now, we have achieved, because people, they have started now knowing about skateboarding.
Yeah.
So the next thing, I'm moving in schools. Why in schools? Because mainly this sport, it's for students. It's for like we youth. And yet schools, they are willing to have those kind of stuff. So if I introduce it in schools, it will expand.
Okay.
You understand? Yeah. Why? Most of the students, we are gonna compete in schools. Compete like the way how you see post-primary football and so on.
Yeah.
And also, right now we are in process with the French embassy.
Yeah.
We are gonna expand this sport in areas, in regions, Mbarara, North, West, and also in refugee camps.
Yeah.
So I don't want this sport to stay in Kampala. There are also other regions.
Yeah.
There are also talents. So we need to dig those talents to do what? To participate in this sport.
Wow.
And that's why we are trying. By 2024, I think you have seen my team. My team, Chitintale Club there.
Yes,
they are totally, yeah. And that club, guys whom I've been training, those guys, they have moved also.
Yeah.
Because Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, these are my students whom I'm sending there to train those countries.
Okay.
So, which means this sport, it has helped the youth to achieve something in their pocket. Rather than being idle, at the end of the day, they enter into bad criminal activities.
Wow.
So I'm trying to promote them through their talents. Yes.
Wow. Jackson, we're going to hold it right there. And when we come back, we will be discussing a little bit more about change management. And, we want to know if there have been challenges that you've gone through and things that, you are doing to, to combat the challenges been through. But for you guys who are watching the show all across the world, we want to say thank you very much. This is the CEO bench. I told you the CEO bench is not a very typical CEO bench like you always look to. We want to actually have a conversation with some of the change agents, leaders in our communities. And have like you've already heard from Jackson. Jackson is doing it in his community. He speaks to himself. What an amazing story. A very fantastic story right there coming from Jackson, and a very good lesson to pick from there. And if you're a leader, the CEO bench is about people who are moving to the top. And people who are on the top, how do they sustain it? And those who are from the top coming down, how do you sustain it? Focusing on leadership, change management, and transformation of our community is what this program is all about. We'll be taking a break, and when we come back, Jackson and I are going to dive very deeply into change management and what his understanding is and what kind of changes Jackson is actually causing in our society. Stay right there. The CEO bench will be right back after this. What is your understanding of leadership?
Leadership for me means you're being able to immerse yourself and get your team, not staff. I've learned that's a very different, they're both different terms, and I'll tell you why. When you immerse yourself as a leader, you're willing to sort of get in the trench with your team and get them to buy the vision behind the structure you've set up or the business you've set up. Yeah. I think then you've achieved, or you are on your way to achieving what it is you want to do with the type of business you have. The reason why I said there's a difference between staff and team is your staff is a body there, do this, do that, and they'll just follow and clock out. Okay. But your team will understand the vision and actually run with it. Perhaps even run with it better than you yourself envisioned. Okay. Yeah.
And Linda, on that note, are you a leader? Do you consider yourself a leader?
I think I'm learning how to, and I'll say I'm working on my impatience. I've been giving feedback about my impatience and that, and impatience in the sense that I know what it is I want. Perhaps we've all discussed it, and if it doesn't happen within Linda's 2 minutes, then I sort of take it away from you and try to do it myself. So I'm trying to pace myself and understand or allow others to move forward and do that. Yeah.
See your bench on this particular fine day, evening, morning, or night, depending on which part of the world you're actually catching the program from. And of course, we are live on House of Talent, live on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Go there, subscribe, share it far and wide, and be part of the bigger family, growing bigger and better. I want to say shout out to all our Ugandan people in diaspora. Over 1.8 million Ugandans living in diaspora who wanted to see Jackson on the show. And some of them actually hail from the, the city suburb of Kampala, which is the Kitintali, where Jackson is based with the Skateboarding Union of Uganda. Jackson, welcome back to the program. Thank you so much. You've got a lot of people who love what you're doing, who think that nominating says one of the change agents we have in our society is people like Jackson because of what they are doing, and helping children to find what is meaningful to them. Jackson, on that note, I want to ask you a question. Yes. What is your understanding of change, and how is change managed from the skateboarding perspective and from what you are doing right now in society?
Anyway, change, it's like the way how we are born. We keep on changing.
Yes.
Characters, behaviors, ways. So for me, like, I'm changing. Let me based on my community.
Yes.
I'm changing my community.
Yeah.
How? I'm trying to show or to show the community that everything is possible. Never regret before you die. You can, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know why?
Yes.
Because some of the people, I'm like, some people, they can be hopeless. Let me say hopeless.
Yes.
You are there, you are doing nothing, you don't know anything.
Yes.
But when you have hope,
yes,
everything can change.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm trying to change my community. How?
Yeah.
I'm trying to divert youth in my community, to divert them away from bad criminal activities,
yeah,
to start their own businesses.
Yes.
Within the Chitintale community.
Yeah.
How? Through showing them different activities. Like, we have a project of bamboo. Those bamboo, we get sculptures out of it. And we do competition at our Chitintale skateboard park. People who come to watch, they buy those sculptures. You see, that you understand now.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
changing
yes,
them.
Yes, yes. And you're managing change.
Exactly.
Yes.
We do tailoring. We have one showing machine, by the way. One showing machine.
Yes,
but
yes.
that showing machine,
Yeah.
we train other kids.
Okay.
On one, we give them time with their timetable. Everyone 1 hour, 1 hour. Using that one showing machine. They make their own clothes. They make their backpackers. So my role is to have event at the skate park.
Okay.
And I invited people. People comes from different parts. So they admire these guys.
So are this actually made from your community
Yes.
there?
Yeah. You see now, like those ones.
Yeah.
People come. They come to watch, but in the other way around,
Yes.
I'm trying to sell this product for guys.
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
sorry to say that.
Yes. No. This is what the problem is about.
Because
Jackson.
if people they hear that,
Yes.
so Jack is a very smart guy.
Yeah.
He make events for us to come.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
So I'm trying to change, and also to show, to make these youth that everything is possible.
Yeah.
So right now there's my students and my youth in my community.
Yeah.
They are benefiting right out.
Yeah.
Because they sell their own product.
Yeah.
They make their own things.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
You need to visit my project.
We're definitely going to visit you, Jackson, and I'm definitely going to buy an item and make sure that item come into the studio and we actually showcase it here in the studio.